And all this week, CNN is reporting on a terrible, horrible problem. This is the killing of thousands of elephants every year. The problem's so bad, Central Africa has now lost almost 2/3 of its elephants. Arwa Damon, she went along on a hunt for the poachers where shots were fired. The end, a sad find. This is a CNN exclusive, and got to warn you here, some of these images are graphic.
It's been 8 grueling hot hours on this river, chasing poachers in the Republic of Congo's largest national park. For these eco-guards, disappointment follows disappointment.
When you put your hand inside, it's actually still quite warm, which means that they probably left early in the morning.
Finally, around a bend, signs of activity. Smoke rising along the bank. They rush ashore and fan out into the jungle. Within seconds, a gunshot. And the pursuit begins. The terrain is dense and disorienting. The men force their way through the undergrowth and slosh through knee-deep water. Our CNN team can barely keep up.
They've all gone forward trying to chase down what seems to be a poacher who, at least most definitely, is armed. They appear to have caught him completely by surprise.
Mathieu Eckel, head of the park's anti-poaching division, brandishes the weapon captured by one of his men.
The guy in front of him tried to shoot him.
Pumped on adrenaline, Brice Moapelé describes what happened. He tried to shoot me, like this, he says. Moapelé then tackled the poacher, grabbing the gun, but the poacher got away.
There's elephant meat in the boat.
The men find the poacher's canoe, weighed down with fresh elephant meat, still dripping blood. Even more hangs off the sides.
This is to take out the tusk.
It's a sickening image of a trade that has decimated the park's elephants. The non-profit group African Parks, which runs Odzala, estimates that Central Africa has lost 62% of its forest elephants in the last decade. In this park alone, thousands have been killed in the last 5 years. In the week we spent here, we only saw one alive. The park, about the size of Connecticut, is patrolled by just 76 eco-guards. Not nearly enough, but some 40% of them are former poachers themselves, which helps big time.
They know how poachers work. So it's easy for them to think like them.
It's part of a program created by Eckel in the last year, where poachers are given amnesty if they hand over their weapons and confess. Eckel says this raid is proof his program works. But the unit's successes come at a price. This is a country where corruption is routine and where poaching with impunity has been a way of life. All these eco-guards have been threatened. Frank Bolangonga tells us 3 men attacked his wife. They tried to rape her, but she was strong. She pulled back and her dress ripped off and she ran away, he says. The same men who Bolangonga says are part of his village's poaching ring tried to attack him. He stabbed one of them. The unit doesn't find any elephant ivory, but does end up with 4 guns, ammunition, and a cell phone. A potential lead to the poachers. The eco-guards torch the camp to send a message. These men often find themselves pursuing people they once worked with, friends, neighbors, and even family members. In the ever-evolving fight against the ivory trade, out here, it's now personal.
Arwa Damon is joining us live from London. Very, very powerful, Arwa, your reporting there, and the fact that you went behind the scenes with many of these brave men who were literally following the poachers there. What did you learn? I mean, were they discouraged when they saw all of that, the elephant meat and the tusks and everything? I mean, is this an ending battle, a losing one?
You know, we were talking to them about that because their successes are so limited. It's only about 1% of the time that they're actually able to make a significant bust. But for them on that particular day, just the fact that they were able to get those 4 guns, and that's what was important to them, at least 4 guns out of the hands of poachers, for them that was something of a fairly significant victory. But one doesn't really appreciate just how similar this is to guerrilla warfare until one is actually on the ground with them, seeing how dangerous the situation actually is. And of course, you were hearing from them there, the fact that they've all been threatened. Even Eckel, who's heading the division, he had to move his family out of the park headquarters where they were living to the capital to try to keep them safe because of the intensity of the threats they were getting.
Arwa, is there any fear when you're following the poachers, when they're following the poachers, that the poachers will turn around and start shooting back, shooting at them? I mean, it seems like it would be a very dangerous situation.
It is, and it potentially can be, although based on what they were telling us, a lot of the times the poachers will just fire a few shots and then try to run away and escape the scene. Of course, then the challenge for the eco guards is trying to track them down, and our story that's going to be coming up tomorrow is actually whether or not they were able to find enough clues at that site, that poachers campsite, to actually track down the individuals that carried all of this out.
Excellent work, Arwa. And of course, we are going to be following, we're going to be carrying your series in the noon hour throughout the week. Thank you very much, Arwa. Appreciate it.